Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 2020 President's Cup at Willamette Park. I'm Scott Withers, still here with Chris Nelson. We haven't went anywhere since part one, so let's see if we can see some fireworks on part two here.
Yeah, the back nine, like you mentioned, a little more scoreable. As you can see, you're really the only one putting together a solid front nine. I'm at 3 down. Travis is at 1 down. Mannie at even. We're all definitely not stoked about that front nine performance, but here we are on hole 10 in the right setting today, which makes it significantly tougher than yesterday. What are you throwing here for your forehand?
Yeah, it's another cloud breaker. I'm just sticking to that. It's the only disc that I can throw this far, and if you know much about disc golf in this region, you've had a lot of good players come from this park with Nate Sexton and Dion Arlen, and then even Colin Sexton. And you watch those guys throw forehands, and you understand why they throw them so far. It's because every forehand hole out here can get stretched out to 380. You're going turnover, probably a little tougher to park the hole, but maybe a little easier to get the distance.
Yeah, I don't quite have the confidence in my forehand at this particular angle. I'm more of a flex forehand player. I really want to learn your style of forehand with that little hyzer flip, but the backhand is definitely tougher to reach the pin. The ceiling really just constricts your airspace, as Travis and I are both low on the turnover. Travis is probably like 80 to 100 short here, just pitching up.
Yeah, and then Mannie, birdie look. I wouldn't necessarily call it a putt, and he was having a little struggles in the front nine. Looks like he lays that one up and just chooses to take par and not go over the hill on the backside of the basket.
Yeah, it looks like I did the same. Just not giving it any effort. Oh, sneaks it in.
Not all made putts are of the same quality, but about 30 feet uphill, not a good release. It went in the basket. I mean, you kind of take what you can get in those situations. We've all had good putts not go in. So when bad putts do find a way in, it makes you get a little redemption or feel a little better from those situations where you have spit throughs.
A 2 on the card in the end. So once again, you pick up a stroke on us there. That's a good 2 to get.
Yeah, tough hole, fun hole. I really do like that shot. I feel like it's one that we don't see very often, moving to the right like that, where you have to throw it basically with kind of a flippy forehand disc that stands up. And then we go to a hole that, for some reason, I am way worse at than hole 10 in that setting. And it's a basic 307-foot little, I'll call it a pitch hyzer shot. I'm throwing a Firebird, and I assume most people are throwing drivers on this hole, but you have to get it over the mound that you can't see that I bury it into. But it's basically just got to go as left as you can on this screen and be high enough to get over the mound.
Yeah, I'm throwing the same thing, Firebird. I notice you kind of inside low, so making sure I get the width. I scoot up there to about 20 feet. But yeah, the really only mistake here is basically what you did, just not getting the height. That berm keeps you to about 70, 75 short.
Yeah, it's the high or low. The ceiling is pretty low, and I think that's why you see a lot of shots go into the ground. But Travis is throwing a real stable fairway driver as well. I assume some type of Firebird-ish disc, and skips over towards the basket, and he'll have pretty much a tap in. So here's a 65 or 70 footer.
Good catch. That one looked a lot better than the last one.
Yeah, it felt a lot better, and I had that same putt the day before and threw it off the cage, so it felt a little better today to get it to sneak over.
When I see something like that go in and I'm already, 5 stick strokes back, it's kind of like, all right, what else? What else can I do?
You never want to concede that you're playing for second instead of first, but at some point you and Travis are so close and you're battling. Does your attention get taken off of the win and get put towards making sure you stay in front of second, or you just still, do everything you can to birdie and I'm 5 back, I'm never laying up, I don't care what the situation is?
Yeah, you always want to get the birdies. I'm not the kind of person who's always score checking the holes. I kind of keep the live scores away until near the end of the tournament, just so I'm not thinking about it all too much. But At this point, I know you're playing hot, and I know us other three are not playing so hot, so it's kind of like just keep chugging along, focus on your game, make sure you don't, throw away money.
Yeah, because it's true. I mean, this tournament was originally supposed to be a pretty small C tier, and then got the funding, and he kicked it up to a B tier, kind of at the last minute, and then all of us signed up at the same time. I know we were messaging each other before the event, like, "Are you going to play this? Maybe I'll play this," and then we all got in. It ended up being a lot of fun. But there's a few $100 between second place and third place, and then obviously it falls off quite a bit after that. So no matter where you're at, you got to keep grinding.
The hole 12, same setting as yesterday, in the right by that log back there. You can either take the hyzer flick kind of spike forehand through the left gap, which you and I are doing here, making sure we get our probably 12 speeds nice and high. You can also take the middle gap, which Travis is going to show us here, a little bit tighter.
Yeah, this is a hard backhand. He's got flippy enough discs to pull it off, but I think if I had to throw backhand on this, I'd probably be going in that same gap that we took forehand with something that could probably glide over there. So
Mannie trying to show us the up the middle. Unfortunately, hits the first tree.
He may have some on-camera jitters going. I don't know if it's his first time being on camera, but it is a little different when you know that everyone's going to get to watch what you're doing afterwards. Maybe just an off day a little bit too. I know he's got a lot of career rounds here at Willamette Park. He used to live in Corvallis, so.
Here you are from probably Circle's Edge. Another birdie putt. Cash it in.
Yeah, that one looked and felt a lot better than the last couple that had went in. So Mannie trying to say par here. Yeah. Ooh. Able to get it.
That's a good par save. I'm probably like little over 20 feet here. Thought I got closer, but squeak it over the cage.
That's the comfort zone, right? 30-footers you grind over. When you get to that 20-foot line, you're banking on making every one of them. So no one's shooting 100% from 30 feet, but you really want to shoot as close to 100% as possible from 20 feet.
Yep. So you and I get the birdie there. Pars for Travis and Mannie. Trying to keep pace. Still just 6 strokes back with like six holes to go. So 13, 333. Got to take like a nice straight to stable mid. Just let it filter towards the basket. There's that little Mando sign right off the tee. Doesn't really come into play. This looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think you can go mid or fairway here. That was my Tour Series Exodus. It's just a matter of getting left, what you're comfortable with. It's almost such a simple shot that we mess it up all the time. I'm not saying it's an easy hole because there's a bunch of stuff on the ground that you have to get over, but every pro-level player should be able to throw a 330-foot hyzer without having to worry about it. But where you can see Travis getting just inside of those logs, he's going to be a little short. Those really do come into play, and I think they push discs too high at times on this hole, and you get into the branches.
Yeah, I chose to go fairway, try to take a little power off. Obviously didn't work. I early release it, connect on a tree. I think in the future, this will just be a mid-range smash for me. I don't really think I need anything more for 330.
Travis, a little miss. I remember as we were playing this hole, starting to think like it was getting pretty late in the afternoon, and you can still see the sun, but the shadows are starting to be pretty long. Temperature was starting to drop just a little bit, and we'd only been on the course for an hour and a half or whatever. But we talked in part 1 about what time we teed off. You're right; it might have been like 4 or 4:15 or something by the time we actually got on the course. And right at the beginning of fall, we could definitely start feeling it at the end of this round.
Yeah, especially late summer. I think this was like late August or early September. The temperatures just kind of drop a little bit quicker. We've been playing in the summer heat all summer. Feels a little bit different. Here you are, another tap in birdie. Just keep on going.
The goal, keep throwing it close and throwing it in. When people ask what the key to scoring well is, I always say, just throw it close to the basket and then throw it in the basket. Like, don't make the game harder than it has to be. So many times we stress ourselves out. We talk ourselves into thinking the game's harder than it needs to be. You've got a Frisbee and you're trying to throw it in some metal contraption. Like, just throw it close to the basket and then turn around and throw it in the basket on your next shot. And that's how you get birdies. So we're going to take just a second and kick it off to a sponsor.
This video is brought to you by Resistance Discs. Head over to resistancediscs.com and use code CHSports at checkout to get free shipping on any order over $25. Thank you to resistancediscs.com, and let's get back to the video.
A big thank you there to Jeff Corns and Resistance Discs for sponsoring the CH Sports channel. And here we're moving on to the shortest and one of the trickiest holes on the course.
Yeah, 14, just less than 200 feet. Pretty sharp right turn. We're both probably throwing like gator. I'm throwing mortar. Just trying to get enough spikes so that it sits. This angle is kind of scary there, as that has a 50-50 chance of rolling down the hill, and that goes to from a park job to about a 50-foot putt.
You know it's a forehand hole when Travis is throwing a forehand, and that one looks pretty good. You can't fly the disc all the way to this basket. It has to hit the ground in that dirt spot and skip over there. It'll never get far enough right in the air. And I think Mannie may have caught and just snuck through. No, it caught and stayed behind the trees that you have to miss to the left.
Oh, yeah, that's a common mistake. You want to throw it soft to not have that roll away, and you saw it off inside. But Mannie has the guts, runs the putt, and sneaks it in the cage.
If that doesn't go in or doesn't hit metal, it's 50 feet down the hill.
At least.
Automatically. Like, it's going to roll all the way down to the log, and it's probably going to be a bogey. But he's trying to make something happen. Great putt. It slopped in on the right side, but like we said earlier, made putt's a made putt.
Here I am kind of razzing you a bit, giving you a shout out that your disc did not sit when in fact it did. So you'll be tapping in another birdie. How many in a row is that? Who knows? Lost count.
I think you were also giving me a hard time because if you remember, so this had to be late because it was a 5:30 kickoff for the Sunday night football game, and New England was playing. And at this point, I had just taken my phone out to start streaming the game on my phone because I refused to not watch a game, even though as we sit down, New England's 2-4 and is giving me some heart problems.
Oh yeah, good old Patriots. So here we are, 15. Got that Mando right. So most of us are going to be throwing a flick. The basket's kind of tucked down to the right, down that hillside. Your disc is finding it. Looks great. Nice little skip towards it.
Yeah, this is just a Firebird forehand. 300 feet. I don't know. It might play more than 300. You definitely got the full turnover on that one and ran some people off of the other box.
Yeah, that Firebird's just not as stable as she used to be. Travis showing us the backhand like he's ought to do and just takes a lot of that foliage into play, catches some limbs.
And this should be a pretty comfortable shot for Mannie with his sidearm game. And
yeah, looks good.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like it's going to get down there and have a putt. So you're, saying hi to the many walkers of Willamette Park. It's always busy coming through here. It's almost one of those parks that's so busy that you don't even stop for the people that are walking through as long as you're not going to hit them with the disc. So
there it is. Good hit from Travis. That's got to be that red XD. Love to see it.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay on this one. Oh, yeah. That's got to be 70 feet. Travis with his first real big putt of the round. And we've started to see some putts go in from a little farther away now. And I said there'd be some more fireworks on the back nine. And it's cool to see these 60 or 70 or 80 footers. Sometimes you go a whole round without seeing any, and we've seen a couple in the last 3 or 4 holes.
Yeah, Mannie and I tried to join that group. We'll have to settle for our pars. And surprise, surprise. Oh, it's still Mannie, so... Sneaks in the par. We'll get to your drive eventually.
we're starting to get to the point in the round where I knew I had a good one going. I knew it was around. I didn't know, like, I knew where everyone was at because I was doing live scoring. I knew where I was at, that I'd only had 2 pars up to this point. But when you move into 16, 17, and 18 here, they're all 3. 16's a semi-tough hole. 17 and 18 are hard holes.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew there was a chance to have something special. I think I'd shot 15 under at Willamette Park 4 or 5 years ago. Probably the last time I played a tournament out there, honestly. And I knew that was high rated. Not thinking about rating or anything like that at this point. I'm just thinking about getting as many birdies as I can.
Yeah, like you said, coming down the stretch here, this is probably the easiest of our 3 remaining holes. You're throwing just a straight to stable fairway onto this hillside. You can see the basket just perched up there. You slide on up to about 20, 25, where you've been hitting putts all day.
You never parked this hole. Travis threw the way, not that my shot was poor, but Travis threw the perfect line there. And I think he hit the stairway going up to the basket and got rejected. And I assume you're going TL3 or like 11-time T-bird on this one?
Yeah, that's that TL3. I like it out of my hand. It's just kind of carries a bit far, so I'm going to be putting back at the basket. I played with Travis round 1, and he hit the exact same staircase, so he'll get to try and hit that putt again.
That's crazy. As listeners watch Chris throw his TL3s all over this course, go get yourself one, because they are going to help your game with how far and how straight they go.
Absolutely. One of my favorite additions to the bag. I know you got me onto them earlier in the year, and they're just really dependable. Fantastic disc by Innova. So here my coming back. That definitely felt good to get there coming down the stretch.
Great putt by Mannie right before you. Great putt by you there, probably from just outside the circle. And I know you were in the blackberries. If you'd been any farther back, you would have been all kinds of cut up getting in there. But then Travis, after getting rejected by the stairs, still only 25 feet or so.
Just steps up and slings it in there. Oh, good birdie from Travis. And here you are, taking a little bit extra time.
Yeah, when you know you got one going, the nerves have almost come back at this point. So the nerves were gone for a while. You get the big lead. You're going through the motions, and you're kind of pulling away in an event. But then when you start to realize how good the score is and how special the round might be, the nerves come back for those 30-footers. And I would be lying if I wasn't standing on that putt thinking about, like, okay, let's birdie out here. I know that the course record's 15, and I know that I can get, if I get them all, I can get to 16.
Yeah, so just chugging along, all of a sudden 14 under through 16 holes, on to 17. Kind of a tricky hole. We got that mandatory right, forcing you to throw the straight flick or a little turnover backhand. You get that on a nice angle, and that's going to be circle's edge, pin high.
Yeah, Cloudbreaker. Again, this hole's listed at 352. It might play a little more than that.
Yeah,
I feel like
so.
This is everything that I have in a forehand. It may even be in that like 370 to 380 range again. You're going backhand turnover here. Is it just a little far for the forehand?
Yeah, more so just to take that mandatory out of play, because it is a little far from my forehand. I don't, God forbid, I don't want to yank over a flex forehand and miss it this late in the round. I know I can get there with a backhand. That was a Mako 3, and I hit that tree. You got to miss, so I'm going to be left with a circle 2 putt.
Yeah, good shot by Mannie. Coming up short, but he made the Mando. Is going to be able to lay up and take his par and move on to the last hole. But you're, 50 here?
Something like that. I checked the scores. I know I need this one.
Were you and Travis tied at this point?
I think I had a few on Travis, but I was trying to catch up to some hot rounds earlier in the day, and so hitting that felt good going into the last hole.
Yeah, that's right. We had some people from second and third card that shot double digits on this round, so I forgot that you were chasing down people that were already in the clubhouse.
Yeah, good to get, at least one of those around. My circle 2 percentage is not what I'd like it to be, so good to always hit a couple of those, as here you are. Well, I got a lot closer than I remember, just tapping in another 2.
It felt a lot longer than that when I was standing there getting ready to toss it in, I think, at this point. So
15 down through 17. You tied the course record going into 18. We're playing the par 3 right pin today, I believe. So it's kind of like tucked behind some guardian trees. Got quite a bit of OB on this hole, a little more danger than we're used to on this course. What are you throwing here?
I'm going TL3. I debated the forehand. I just can't get it there, and I'm in go for the birdie mode for sure with a big enough lead. This TL3 I've had in the bag for a long time, and it's pretty flippy. Pretty good release. Could have been a touch higher. I end up about 30 feet, but I am dead behind that tree.
Yeah, it looked good, the shape of the shot. It's a tough hole. It's 402 feet, but, you got that OB left all the way. It's got to be in your head. It's definitely in my head here. I'm trying to throw the line you threw and just don't get the height, and it's just going to burn out into the ground. Kind of disappointing finish there.
And I think I referenced that I think I shot 15 at this course a few years ago, and I came into this hole with a chance to shoot 16 then also. Tried to throw a roller to this setting, and I threw it out of bounds. Ended up shooting. I think I was whatever it was. Maybe I was 15 and ended up shooting 14. I think I was 15 through 17 or something and ended up shooting 14 because I threw it out of bounds. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't in my head on that tee shot.
Yeah. So I'm like 80, 90, trying to give it a go, but just don't want to clip the trees, make it any harder than it needs to be. Travis giving it a run, but he'll come up a little short. Oh, wait, no, that was Mannie, excuse me. And here's Travis. So here you are. What, 20, 25?
Yeah, 25 or so. We didn't know it before the putt. It was to shoot my first 1100 rated round.
Unreal. 16 birdies through 18 holes. You come into a tournament round thinking, I can get all these holes out at Willamette except for maybe one or two. But to do it in a tournament round when it matters, final round, lead card, Sunday, that's big time. Yeah,
Manny's going to tap in. And we went back and talked about it after the round. Both pars I had were inside the circle. One of them was on hole 3, and I was buried so far under the tree that I didn't even, I just laid up. And then one was a miss from 26 or 27 feet on a wide open putt. But a couple jumpers or bonus putts, or at least one, I would say, that 70-footer. But special round, and came up when no one was anticipating. It wasn't like this was some big event that we really had to push for. It was kind of weird because I wasn't even really being pushed, but ends up at 1104. Really cool to see. I mean, my previous high was 1096 before that, which might have been the highest rated round ever shot in Oregon. 1104's got to be, though.
Yeah, just a fire round. Watching you play it back now, it's really impressive. But during the round, I really had no idea you were on that kind of a pace. As you see, Peterson and I think Harding passed me there for second and third.
Well, thank you, Chris, for joining us, and thank you, Colin, for putting the video together and making sure that we have really cool commentary just consistently, tournament after tournament, for our Oregon season this year. So we appreciate it, and we will catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, Colin here with CH Sports. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my coverage sponsors. These videos would not be able to come to life without these people's help, so I really appreciate it. There's plans starting as low as $3 a month, and every single dollar helps grow the channel. If you would like to see your name or business listed in the credits of every single one of my videos, please head over to patreon.com/chsports.